top 10 hottest comics of the week based off of cover prices data. That's right, real sales data, not speculation, not people writing up, oh, I think this is going to be cool because of this, this, and this. No, the algorithms are like, sold for this, this, and this, and this. It's here's the top 10. I think that's how it works, right, Chris?
Something like that.
Anyway, what we do is Cover Price releases the top 10 hottest comics of the week on a Monday. Our show is live every Friday. We like to briefly talk about the top 10 hottest comics, and then Chris dives into his 3 most interesting picks, 3 most interesting books from that list, and he tells you why. Now, just because they're interesting, Chris, that doesn't mean it's a good thing or a bad thing, right? It could be either or something in the middle.
Absolutely.
All right, absolutely.
I don't sugarcoat.
What's that?
I don't sugarcoat. You get it how it is.
Not sugarcoat. Neither of us sugarcoat on the show. We'll tell you how it is. Here we go. The top 10 hottest comics of the week. At number 10, we have Black Panther. Number 5, the first appearance of Shuri as Black Panther. Y'all know why that is the case. At number 9, we have Ghost Rider. Number 28. At number 8, we have Amazing Spider-Man. 545, the Germanic variant. Peter makes a deal with Mephisto. Guys, just before I move on any further, Chris and I made a bold prediction last week saying that there will be a bunch of Spider-Man books on here. Bold prediction. We put our names on the line. And look at what happened here. So our predictions came true. No, we're just joking. It was not bold. It was because of the Spider-Man trailer. So I just wanted to mention that. At number 7, we have Amazing Spider-Man 638. Terms of the Mephisto deal revealed. At number 6, we have Amazing Spider-Man 545. Number 5, we have Werewolf by Night. Number 1, first appearance of Jake Gomez, based off of rumors, people. Rumors. I found this at Cover Price. You find it at Cover Price, pick it up. Don't go crazy with this book. We don't know what's happening. At number 4, Oblivion Song. Number 1, the pink signature variant. That just got picked up with Jake Gyllenhaal starring in it. Number 3, we have Amazing Spider-Man 641. Doctor Strange spell making the world forget Peter Parker is Spider-Man. At number 2, we have Amazing Spider-Man 544. One More Day storyline begins. And at number 1, the Oblivion Song. Number 1, just cover A. By the way, Chris, I have to say that Spider-Man 641 is just a gorgeous cover. And speaking of, that's a very nice segue for you. What do you got? Let's get into it.
Spider-Man. Marvel dominated all around besides Oblivion Song, but Spider-Man just did his thing. I could have easily picked 3 Spider-Man books for my top 3. Did I? I don't know. You guys are just going to have to see. But my number 3 pick is, to your point, Jeff, 641. Amazing Spider-Man 641. Look, guys, really interesting thing. I'm not like a huge fan on these, what are they called, Jeff? What are these covers called? Hello? Anybody home? Jeff, are you with me?
I was getting a beer.
Look at that. I need, you can't just think that I can do this
oh my gosh,
on my own.
Guys.
I can't do it on my own.
What was the question? I'm sorry. I was literally.
Just me? You think I can really do this by myself?
I'm sorry, guys. I'm like, you know what? I need a beer. And I ran upstairs. What was the question?
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, my goodness.
I heard you start talking. I'm like, shit. The one time he asked me a question.
The question was, what are these types of variants called?
Oh, negative space.
There you go. I'm not I just almost fell out of my chair. Okay. So, this book, very beautiful cover. I'm not really a huge fan on the negative space variants. This one, though, is something special. It really pops out to you more. And as an artist, I see it like Mary Jane's arm and how it's just wrapped around Peter. And her hair, that red hair blowing just, oh man, this is an absolute amazing cover already. But this is concluding the One Moment in Time storyline where Doctor Strange casts a spell that makes everyone forget that Peter is Spider-Man. So of course, what do we see in the No Way Home trailer? Peter is asking Doctor Strange to cast a spell to make everyone forget that Peter's Spider-Man. So very, very relevant. Of course, this book got hot this week, folks. 322% increase in sales over the last week. Now check this out. CGC 9.8 high sale. A $500 best offer accepted. So, you know, use your imagination to guess kind of where that sale landed. I'm going to say, knowing how people are with best offers on eBay, I don't think it hit below 450. I'm going to say even higher than that. Now, the high raw sold for $100 best offer accepted, but there was, I believe, an $89.99 sale. So I'm going to assume that the $100 best offer, again, was probably maybe above $90. So this book is absolutely taken off. Here's the thing. When you're looking at these books, and this is going to go into all of the Spider-Man books that showed up on this list, this is FOMO. This is huge FOMO because we just saw the most watched trailer in like history with No Way Home, and it literally has broken the internet. The thing though, as much as this is FOMO and people seeing this and hopping on these books, this is a situation where this FOMO impact can actually last. And again, this is my opinion because nobody can predict a market. But it is my humble opinion that these books, if the movie lives up to the hype, I think these books, what do we have? 3 months?
Yes.
Over 3 months?
Yeah, so here still, by the way, yes.
Until the movie comes out, 3.5 months. I think these are going to hold solid until the movie comes out. And remember, this is a teaser trailer, which makes no sense to me because it was 3 minutes long and you saw so much. If there's another trailer drop, and then when that movie hits, if this movie lives up to the hype. So although, you know, and I just did a video about FOMO and how to stay away from bad FOMO, but I addressed in that video how not all FOMO is bad FOMO. We can appreciate wanting to not miss out on things and having that fear and wanting to like that adrenaline rush that we get when buying into these comics. I don't see that dying down with these books if this movie does what it's supposed to do. It very well could be very, very a high possibility that these books not only don't cool off, but when the movie hits, they're still going.
I agree.
I'll tell you Energizer Bunny.
I'll tell you what, though. You know, Planet Arizona says it well. Like, you know, I like that cover a lot. I picked that up a year or so ago just for it. Now you were kind of making a comment, you know, from an artist perspective. This cover, to me, it just says so much in an image, right? And it is like they don't want to let go. You know, it just feels like, you know what I mean? It feels like that. There's some. It's just so. It feels so emotional. This cover.
Yep.
This is, you know, this came out before negative space was a thing in terms of comic books. I feel like this could be one of the earliest negative space books. It just says so much with so little, and I love this cover as well. Regardless of what happens in Spider-Man No Way Home, this cover, it's just fantastic. I think it's better than like a cover like Amazing Spider-Man 55, right? The Gleason cover. I think it's way better. I think this is definitely, in my opinion, it's hard to say a top 10 cover because there's so many amazing covers for Spider-Man. But anyways, all right, that's enough for me.
I know, I agree, and you hit the nail on the head. It's definitely an emotional piece. It's a piece of art. Whereas, you know, you look at Gleason and what he did, it's very unique. I mean, I don't know if anyone's really done that. Now he's repeating his success, but
yeah,
I don't know if anyone really had done that style. I don't know. And to the point with this book, I don't know if there was a negative space before this. Maybe this started that style. I don't know, but you're right. Negative space, whatever you want to call it, the emotion in that image is there.
It's just a stunning it's almost to me. It's a somber, like again.
Yep.
I don't want to let go because things are going to be different after this, right? Kind of a thing. Like I'm getting too involved in it. All right, moving on. What is your second most interesting book?
Jeff, give me some tissue.
Thank you. What is your second most interesting book of the week? I won't leave. I got my beer here. I'm good.
I got my hydro. Guys, am I gonna pick all Spider-Man books? Number 2, Amazing Spider-Man 544. Look at that. One more day begins, folks. So one more day for those that don't know. This is where Peter is faced with possibly losing Aunt May. This is shortly after. Spoilers for anyone that hasn't read these 14-year-old comic books. Civil War happened. Tony convinced Peter to reveal his identity because of the Registration Act and so forth from Civil War, and because of that, Aunt May took a bullet and she is dying in the hospital, and Spider-Man is going to literally make a deal with the devil to save Aunt May's life. So
what's the name of that devil? What's the name of that devil?
Oh yeah, I wonder what the name of that devil is.
Mephisto. Did he show up and what? No, he didn't show up. Did he show up and look? No.
He's going to show up in No Way Home. Doctor Strange's Mephisto, right? It's just, this Mephisto hype is so hilarious. But that's
great. It's great. It's great.
So, this is where it all begins. This book saw a 326% increase in sales. This had a CGC 9.8 high sale of $500, sold on August 26th. Get this. 3 days earlier, you know what a high CGC 9.8 sold for? $99.
Jeez.
$99. In 3 days, shot it to 500. High Raw sold for 59. Okay, so now let's kind of look at what I was just saying, talking about Amazing Spider-Man 641. The same thing goes for this too. Where with the movie, I don't see the hype of these books cooling off until the movie hits. And if the movie delivers, these books can definitely stay hot. But now, Amazing Spider-Man 641 pertains a little more to the actual storyline that we know that's going on in the movie. If Mephisto never shows up, or it could kind of take the eyes off of this one a little bit, but it still correlates, and we know that the MCU doesn't pull specifically from the comics. They'll mix and mash things up and whatnot. So I'm a little more objective with this $500 9.8. When I talked about the FOMO holding, but I am gonna stick with my ground, put the feet on the ground and say that I do believe this book is going to still be consistent, especially when you're looking at that $59, $60 raw book. I think that's definitely going to hold. But you guys know me when I talk about 9.8s. The 9.8 market in general is just crazy. And for a book to quadruple in value, plus over the 3 days, it's just crazy. Don't go buy. I don't spend $500. In my humble opinion, don't spend $500 in a 9.8 on this book. Go buy yourself a high grade raw copy for $60. Press it, clean it, send it to CGC. I have a big question mark when it comes to the 9.8 value of this book and what that's going to do on the market. But I think overall, this book is still going to have a lot of eyes on it, especially for just that average raw price. And again, if the movie delivers, I think it's going to hold.
Yep, and people are saying like I picked up that whole one more day run for $2 each. Yeah. 2 years ago. That's amazing. By the way, Planet Arizona has a bold prediction here. I'm going to throw a curveball here and say that Doc Strange is really Loki. We saw at the end of the first season of Loki that he was becoming more adept at using magic. Marvel can use him here. I like that. Possibly. Anyways, I like that. I like this analysis here, and I agree. Don't go crazy on these guys, because even if they are a part of the film, they will cool off after the film. That's fact right there. All right, moving on, Chris. What is your third most interesting book of the week? Wait, and before you go, is it a Spider-Man book? Say yes or in the comments, please, audience. Let us know, Chris. So just stretch it a little bit. Stretch it. Frozen too, by the way. Last week was me. This week it's you. There you go.
No, I'm not frozen. That's just me and my yoga zen.
Ah, got it. And the whole pixelation too.
I told you guys.
You are totally in this. All right, just go for it. What's your third most interesting book of the week?
All right, guys.
Super Rat says it is, of course, the Spider-Man book.
My number one pick
Uh-oh.
of the week
Uh-oh.
is the Spider-Man book. And it's Spider-Man 316 because I don't care what the sales data says. This is the hottest book of the week because I own it. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean,
he was just kidding, by the way, Ariel. Just kidding.
It is a hot book, but I'm gonna tell you, I really wanted to go with all Spider-Man. But we had some Midnight Suns action because of a video game and whatever, and then we had this thing called Oblivion Song, and I'm like, I guess my number one pick has to be Oblivion Song. I guess. Why? Because some guy named Jake. No, not Jake from State Farm.
Well played.
But Jake Gyllenhaal getting cast in the Oblivion Song. So we knew this property was being optioned 3 years ago. And okay, we got some eyes. But oh, here comes Jake Gyllenhaal. What are you wearing, Jake Gyllenhaal?
Why are you so angry?
Guys, that's all it took, man. Ladies love cool Jake, but 215% increase in sales, right? 9.8 sold for 260. So this book it got hot because of this announcement. It made number one on the list, and I didn't mention this, but I'm going to mention it now. My top three were the top three. That rarely happens. I think it happened once or maybe twice before. But look, I got to give credit where credit's due for Oblivion Song. Image might have another home run here with this, and I really hope Jakey comes on board and does his thing. I loved him as Mysterio. He's been a solid actor ever since. Oh man, y'all know Donnie Darko. Excuse me, there, brain fart. But so we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited to see what he can do in the property, and we'll see. With again, with these books. I love the attention that indies get when they get optioned, and we know that there's a show coming or there's a movie coming, and especially when you get good names like this in the roles. I think it's solid because while so many people want to just focus on, it's just speculators and flippers and all this and FOMO, and it's it does speak to the fact that the overall totality, the health of the market in totality is solid because independent books are competing with the big two. They're competing with the big two by getting big studios looking at them, or maybe streaming studios looking at them, or streaming properties that then license out to other studios, whatever the case may be. So that's happening, and then you got the collectors, speculators, whoever it is that are looking at these books and buying into them. So I think it's great. I think it encompasses the overall scale of all the different players that are in the comic book market right now. And I think it's a very positive sign, regardless if this book holds. I can't say that, but I will bring up the one book, and that is The Walking Dead, #1. And, I know it's not, I always say The Walking Dead #1 is like the Hulk 181 of indie books, or even like the Amazing Fantasy 15 of the indie books, because of what was going on in the 2000s, the struggling Marvel and the big two trying to reemerge, and you got Image changing their tone and breaking outside of genres and doing something new. So you can't really duplicate that. So I'm not trying to compare Oblivion Song directly with Walking Dead #1, but it goes to show when you have a property within the storyline that works, and you have a TV show. And I know, look, you got probably some mixed emotions with the TV show. Some people say, it kind of dried out or whatever later on. It doesn't matter. That show is still iconic, and it brought a lot of people into the comic book So we could definitely see the same thing here. Got to give love to the indies. So that's why I picked it for my number one.
Definitely, and it just so happens that this is another Kirkman book property, right? So you got Walking Dead, you got Invincible in terms of things that went to shows or film. Walking Dead, Invincible, Outcast, and now Oblivion Song. Is there one I may be missing some others as well, but Kirkman's got a nice little run going for him. Okay, he's got a nice little run, and it's quite interesting. But again, what you were saying about the indies making waves, you know, you got like another good example is like the Umbrella Academy, outstanding show, right? Jupiter's Legacy didn't do as well as everybody had hoped. It was kind of corny. But yeah, Comic News says Firepower. I love Firepower, but there's no announcement of any film or TV show that I know of. I have not seen that. I would be on top of that in a hot second. But again, the indie books are not being overlooked. Granted, this ecosystem is dominated by DC and Marvel, but there are other properties here that are just as great to watch and be a fan. Like Invincible was incredible. Like that cartoon was absolutely incredible. So there's a lot of things to be excited about. But that right there ends the top 10 hottest comics of the week. We'll have a brand new list next week, and it'll be just as exciting. And Chris will pick his 3 most interesting books from that list.